Good morning. Welcome to another edition of Coffee with Tea. I'm your host, the amazing Tea Street. Is my favorite new mug. I've had it about a month. Emotional support coffee. This morning, I'm going to jump right in because I've got a full day. Don't skip the process of feeding your mind. Oftentimes we wonder why we're in gloom and depression, and we don't have like lots of free flowing thoughts. Sometimes we feed our mind like we feed our bodies. I'm admittedly a person who feeds my body garbage. Then it's not hard to figure out that I feed my body garbage. All you got to do is take a look at my body, and you know that most of the time I'm feeding it garbage. But one thing you cannot say is that I feed my mind a lot of garbage. One of the reasons that my mind is sharp and it's always clear and I'm always, I got a reservoir of things to share and those kinds of things is because I'm always feeding my mind good, healthy, positive things that have has enabled my mind to expand and to grow. So today I want to talk about the four steps to feeding your mind, the process of feeding your mind. The first thing you got to do if you're feeding your mind is you got to put positive and stimulating content in. If all you ever feed it is a diet of negativity, sometimes I have to shut off all of TikTok and IG. I have to shut it off because there's so much negative stuff coming at me. I shut off the news sometimes. And it's not because I want to be ignorant. I'm never going to be ignorant of my surroundings or my circumstances. But sometimes if that's all I put in is negativity, ultimately that's what comes out, because whatever comes into my mind also comes out of my mouth. And so if you want to feed your mind and you want it to expand and you want it to be as healthy as your body, you got to start to put in positive and stimulating content. How you do that, T? Start to listen to audiobooks. If you don't like to read, listen to audiobooks. Find short clips of things, and you don't have to feed it with a whole book. Maybe a whole book isn't for you, but maybe you're listening to podcasts. Maybe you're reading articles instead of scrolling. Nothing wrong with scrolling, but maybe you don't spend as much time doing scrolling as you do some other kinds of things. So that's the first step, is putting in positive and stimulating content into your mind. The second step, engage in learning and creative activities. Sign up for a workshop. If you've always wanted to learn how to sew, Joanne's doesn't exist anymore, but find Michael's has classes all the time if that's where your creative juices are. Find ways to learn new things. Engage in learning and in creative activities. Find a new hobby. I told you, everybody knows my new hobby is learning how to strum this guitar. It is a hobby, but when I tell y'all, it brings me so much joy. When I learn a new chord, or when I actually the other day played the beginning of a song, the whole reason I bought the guitar, I played the beginning of it. It did something to me, but it has also expanded some of my abilities with my hands, my dexterity, because I'm learning how to connect my hands to my mind more. I'm a person who can't dance because I have a hard time connecting my feet to what my mind sees. And so I'm learning how to be more dexterous by using my hands more. So that's the second step. Engage in learning activities if you want to feed your mind something better. Surround yourself with people who encourage you. Whatever it is you're trying to do. Girl, you better read that book. I see you. My sister knows. I always hated books. I love articles. I like things I can read and get lots of content in short, packages. And so I started listening to audiobooks. Next thing you know, every time you turn around, I'm downloading a new audiobook because I am now hooked on audiobooks. And my sister is the person who's now saying, it's about time you know how to read. She's like, girl, you better go ahead and read. And I'm sharing out with people the things that I read, and that I hear on my audiobooks. So surround yourself with people who are encouraging you to like be better, to grow and to learn. When you take your last breath, you ought to be learning something. So that's it. The next step really is really quite simple. Be mindful of your environment. Surround yourself with good things. Can I tell you, the room that I create in, I have a red wall in it because red is a color of creativity. So when I'm writing new speeches or I'm writing new content, I usually go in my red room because I'm mindful of how my surroundings impact me. I know that when I practice my cave dwelling activities, like I shut all the blinds in my house and it's raining outside, guess what? I'm going to produce negativity. That's what's going to be coming out because my environment is dark. So it's not surprising that my mind is also dark in those spaces. And so instead, I get up, I open up my blinds. That's why I like to do my coffee with teas in my dining room. I open up my blinds. I make sure that I have lots of natural light. And I also make sure I have artificial light because my surroundings matter. That also feeds our mind. So I want to encourage you today, whatever you do, don't skip the process. of feeding your mind good things. Put something positive and stimulating in, engage in learning and creative activities, surround yourself with people who encourage you, and be mindful of your environment. I'm the Amazing T Street. Know what? There's absolutely positively nothing amazing in me that's not in each one of you. So I dog double dare you to do what? Feed your mind, and the rest will follow. Ooh, y'all can tell I'm silly this morning. Have a great day.